Wow.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you mixed Mythbusters with The Walking Dead? We are Zombie Go Boom, filmmakers and zombie survival enthusiasts. Using our scientifically accurate zombie heads, we put retail weapons, homemade weapons, and everyday objects to the test in order to see what will save you during the zombie apocalypse, survive, protect, and kick undead ass. Hey, what's up, survivors? Welcome to another mind-blowing episode of Did We Do It Wrong? The show where we go through all of the comments to see whether or not we did some of our previous tests wrong, and then we retest them in a brand new light in order to make sure that we're actually doing what we do well, according to you guys. So, what we have for you today is a couple of things. Mostly longsword is what we're talking about. So the first thing is you guys thought that we were unfair with this sword. We said that it wasn't very good. So we're going to see if you're right, if it's actually better than we said. Then you guys wanted to see a murder stroke or a Mordschlag or a Mordstrike or a Mordhau. I think those are all the German terms. For a murder stroke, which is essentially holding the sword by the blade and then bludgeoning the crap out of something. We are going to be destroying a Tim head like that, so please stick around. And we're also going to be showing you how strong it is using these shock watches, which is the stuff that you see Mythbusters use all the time. Essentially, they put this 50G rated one on Buster's head. And if it went off, which means that this will turn red, then that means that Buster received 50 Gs to the head, which would be a kill. And then they would use these green ones, which are 100 Gs, on his body, so that if his body received 100 Gs and it goes off, then you know that that's a kill. Well, we're going to be putting the 100 G and the 50 G on Bob's head right here. And if it breaks this, it's a kill. If it breaks this, it's definitely an overkill. Last test we're going to be doing today is basically what you Scalagrim fans have been wanting to see for a very long time. And he suggests that once you want to end your opponent rightly, what you do is you take the pommel off of a longsword. So I'm taking it off of this practice longsword from Purple Heart Armory, woodenswords.com. Check them in the description below. And we're going to be throwing this pommel at Tim to see if that's enough to kill him. That sounds like a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah. Are you guys excited? Because we're excited. This is like brand new territory. I hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and let's get started. Alright, so first things first. Is this a good sword? Now, you guys thought that it was better than we said it was because it did manage to kill one of our heads. Yes, it did manage to do that, but the reason why we said that it wasn't that great is because it obviously has a rat-tailed tang, which means that it's eventually going to break on you. The steel is stainless steel, and it doesn't seem like it's good stainless steel, and it's heat-treated very poorly. If I go like this with the sword, you can see exactly what just happened. And that was without me trying too hard to bend the tang. You see that? If I bend it back, it might just break, but hopefully it won't because we're going to try to cut bottles with it. Also, sharpening this thing was the biggest bitch on the planet. I spent hours and hours on it just trying to take a little bit of steel off, which means that it was heat treated way too hard. It was like a file essentially, and it ate through a bunch of my belts. It sucked. You remember?
Oh yeah.
It was freaking terrible. It was so bad that we only sharpened the long edge and not the false edge or the short edge because it was just such a pain in the ass. And even still, once we actually used the sword, it didn't stay sharp very long afterwards. Maybe one strike, two strikes, it's still sharp, then it was dull again. This is a cosplay replica by Valyrian Steel. It's definitely a wall hanger, even though a lot of you guys thought that it was great. It's not. Alright? And then other things that we were talking about. This thing is ridiculously heavy. The balance is not so great, okay? You can't wield this with one hand. It's not only heavy, but it's balanced way too blade forward. This one is light. And this isn't even a good longsword. This is like an affordable version. But it's battle ready. And it's pretty nice. We like it a lot. You can wield it with one hand. We also have another longsword that's even better than this one, but we're just going to show you the difference between these two because they actually cost the same, believe it or not. Okay? So if you are into cosplaying, get this. If you want a sword that works, get this. And hopefully we'll prove it to you guys when we just cut bottles. This is a wall hanger. That is a battle-ready sword. So you guys thought that we were being unfair. Maybe we would have been unfair if this thing right here cost like $15. Because a machete that costs about $15 will do about as much damage as this will.
Yeah, any piece of metal that's this heavy and this thin is going to do the same amount of damage regardless of whether or not it's sharpened or blunt.
If you want to dress up like Jon Snow, you're going for the Game of Thrones look, then yeah, this is freaking great. If you want to actually cut stuff, do some cutting tests, or have something that'll actually protect you in the event of a zombie apocalypse, then go with something like this. And like I said, even this isn't the highest echelon of where you can get, yet they're basically comparable in price. And we're going to show you the difference now. Let's get to it. Oh my God! Oh! Oh!
Where'd that go?
Oh! Oh!
It's behind you, so I'm guessing it
Let me
almost hit you.
let me explain this if I can before I look at my slow-mo. It did this. Shh. I had my arms here. It went in between my arms, barely touched my earlobe, and kept going. My God, that was scary, and there was nothing I could do. I mean, it happened so fast. I was like,
Yeah.
if that had been a blade, it's like I would have died like not even knowing.
Yeah. That's definitely as good as the first sword.
Yeah.
Not.
Alright, so you saw it here. This is not a battle-ready sword, regardless of what you guys thought in the video. This is the Hanwei Rhinelander, and we actually have another longsword that's even better than this one. So we're going to be doing more longsword videos, more katana videos. We're even going to do a longsword versus katana video. And we're going to do more videos showing you guys the differences between something that is for the wall and something that is for destruction. You see what I did there?
Ah.
Anyway, let's move on. Alright, so we are going to be destroying a Tim head with the Mordhau, but before we get to that, we want to see just how powerful it is in comparison to just a regular bludgeoning strike with this wooden sword. So, what we're going to do is we're going to put a 50G Shockwatch sticker, and then we're going to hit it with the blade, then we're going to hit it with a Mordhau. We're going to do the same thing with the 100, and we're going to see which one is actually more powerful. Also, something to note, you can do the Mordhau two ways. You can use the crossguard or you can use the pommel. And we're also going to see which one of those is more powerful. After that, you're going to see the crazy spectacularness of Tim exploding with this strike. If Charles manages to kill Tim with one strike using the Mordhau, then this sword right here from Purple Heart Armory gets the Overkill Seal of Destruction. And if you want to get your own, link is in the description. You want to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so according to Mythbusters, that hit was enough to kill somebody. But in order to make sure, we're going to change this 50G sticker to a 100G sticker. If he can generate more than 100 Gs and the 100G sticker turns red, just like that, then that means that one hit is definitely enough to destroy a zombie's brain. Alright, so the first Mordhau managed to break the sticker just a tiny little bit. It turned a little red and then it started to pull over. So what we decided to do is put a brand new sticker in so we could do the Mordhau by using the crossguard as our element of destruction instead of the pommel. Hopefully that'll do more damage. Alright, so the sticker was completely destroyed, which means that the crossguard Mordhau is a lot better than the pommel Mordhau, which is weird. It's totally surprising. Either way, we're going to do both Mordhaus on the Tim head and watch the blood just go crazy. And then we'll let you know what we think wins at the end of this episode. So stick around. Alright, we're going to be doing the pommel throw utilizing these Shock Watch stickers. So 50 G's right here, and we're gonna see if throwing the pommel at this head is enough to basically kill a person or a zombie. Alright, so not quite 50 G's. I am getting a tiny bit of red on the sticker. So the sticker is compromised, but it probably did more like 10 G's. Who knows? It's definitely not enough to kill anything. Well, anyone. You could probably kill a squirrel. Don't do it though.
Don't kill squirrels.
Alright,
unless you plan on eating them.
Alright, so this thing weighs almost a pound. It's like 14.5 ounces, and I threw it at a little bit over 30 miles an hour. It was a little awkward to throw. I basically had to throw it like a dart, football style, but it's really little, so it was weird. Either way, didn't work. So it's probably not gonna work against the Tim head, but we're gonna try it anyway. Alright, we're going to start our Tim head testing by ending Tim rightly, or at least attempting it, by throwing this pommel at his temple. If that doesn't work, then this is not a good technique. Sorry, Scout. Alright, so as you can see, the pommel hit exactly where I wanted it to hit, which is awesome. And the cheekbone cut from the inside out. That's what you see right here. So if you're a person, that's a hospital trip, potential concussion. But as you can see, there is no blood, which means that it did not enter the cranial cavity, which means it is not a zombie kill. Let's move on to the next test. Alright, so now it's time for the Mordhau, or murder stroke, and because of our shot test, we realized that hitting with the crossguard, at least in this particular weapon, is stronger than hitting with the pommel. So that's how we're going to start. Crossguard to the frontal bone. Let's see what happens. You ready?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Did that go in?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god. Look. Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me?
That was beautiful.
My god. That's not quite the frontal bone. It hit a little bit past it. It's almost like in the parietal bone area. But my goodness. The whole freaking thing went into the head. That is a one-hit kill. No problem whatsoever. It did as much damage as a freaking Cold Steel Warhammer, which is by far my favorite zombie killing weapon, which I might have to rethink that choice after seeing this. Holy shit. How hard was that?
That was like, I don't know, 50% power. Like, I was afraid of breaking the sword, but honestly, it didn't even stand a chance.
That's
like,
insane. And what you're seeing with the shock watches or a shock test, it's showing whether or not the head is taking enough shock or vibration to be destroyed. It's not taking into account how much of the weapon actually pierces and goes into the cranial cavity. So even though our preliminary results stated that the Mordschlag, at least the one here with the pommel, was not as strong as the blade hit, I will say without a doubt that it is definitely better at killing a zombie than using the bladed side. This is incredible.
Look at how it cut the flesh around this hole, like all the way around the rim of this hole. The flesh is cut because of the bone.
Yeah, it basically pierced the skull, and then the skull itself cut the flesh into the cranial cavity inside of it.
That's awesome.
So weird. I wish you could see like the inside of the head in slow motion, because what happened here is majestic. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now another thing I will say comparing this to say the Warhammer is that this is a lot lighter and you can carry this pretty much anywhere. Without a doubt, this thing gets the overkill seal of destruction, but just for the gore level, we are going to let Charles go crazy, which means that he will be using the pommel here and the crossguard, and maybe even hitting it flat, because James was curious about what that would do. Let's figure it out. All right, the next thing we're going to do is another murder stroke, but we're going to be using the pommel instead of the crossguard, and we're going to hit right here on this parietal bone. Alright, so if you feel the skull, you can feel the shape of the pommel. It basically fractured the skull. It wasn't enough to cave it in. It wasn't enough to kill a zombie. It was definitely enough to really, really severely hurt a person to the point where they either go to the hospital or they're going to hang out with Jesus somewhere. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do another strike with the pommel on the exact same place to see if 2 strikes will actually give you a zombie kill. After we figure out whether or not it's true, we're going to try to hit it flat here with the crossguard. We'll see what that does. And then after that, we're just going to let Charles go crazy using mostly crossguard strikes, since those seem to do a lot of damage.
How can you let someone go crazy if they're already crazy?
Because, I mean, he has to wait. You have to wait.
Oh.
You can't just go crazy. We have to allow you
To unleash
unleash the fury,
But
to unleash the Kraken.
Enough. That's not crazy enough.
It is crazy because
release the Kraken, unleash the beast.
Unleash the
Unleash
beast,
the crazy.
release the Kraken. He has a Kraken living inside of his bowels.
What I do? I mean,
It's-
you guys have probably heard it a couple
Yeah.
times.
If you ever see his arms go, that's the Kraken taking control of his arms.
Yeah. Happens whenever I eat too much beans. Release the Kraken.
Kraken, release the Kraken. Oh my god. Oh yeah, totally caved in. And that kill was actually very clean kill. Outside of the fact that blood came out of this gaping hole, the actual strike that we were looking at did not cause that to happen, did not cause any blood to spew forth. Therefore, it is a strike that will allow you to continue to be human, which is interesting. Oh, no, that's not true. Come here real quick. There's a little cut, just a tiny little cut here, as you can see.
From the bone.
Yep, the bone cut from the inside out. And I can actually feel the piece that did it. Pretty sharp stuff. And it may not be the same way with every sword. We haven't tried any murder strokes with regular long swords. This is actually the first murder stroke we've ever tried, and it just so happens that it's with a wooden sword. But so far it seems that using the cross guard as the bludgeoner is a lot better than using the pommel end. Now, we could be wrong when it comes to like regular long swords or other weapons that are similar to this, but so far it seems that the crossguard is the way to go. Now all that's left is for Charles the Executioner Fultz to go crazy. Have you been waiting for that your entire life?
All my years of living.
For today.
For today. It's about to go down.
Let's do it. Alright, so that strike worked. It would be nice to see what that strike would do if we had a fresh head. Basically, Charles hit it with the crossguard using the flat side. And what seems to have happened is from the pommel strike that we just did, it cracked and met up. So it's not just broken here, but it's also broken all the way across. So there's no way to tell if that strike would have totally annihilated the head the way that it seems to have done here, but it's safe to say that it's a kill. Yeah, so basically you hit it with the cross guard, you're probably gonna kill it. How hard did you have to hit it that time?
I hit it about 75%.
75. So right now the best strike seems to be cross guard this way because you don't have to hit it as hard and it's just in and out, definite kill.
Right.
Crazy?
Crazy.
Unleash the Kraken.
All right, this is a more controlled version of going crazy, and I'm gonna try to put this here cross guard in this here zombie's eyeball. I might miss, but it's still gonna be fun. I hit it hard. Did you hear that?
Any damage to it?
No.
This is really, really, really tough wood.
I mean, the guard's not even loose.
No, it's insane. It's insane because this wood right here is not even as strong as the wood here.
A little bit of movement though.
I think this is rosewood, and then the actual blade is
Hickory.
hickory. Yeah. So this is hickory and this is rosewood. So safe to say that the hickory is stronger than the rosewood, but the rosewood is plenty strong because we haven't seen any damage happen to it. Now let's see what happened to the eyeball here. The orbit is broken. So it punctured a hole into the eyeball. Just imagine that eyeball just shooting out of the head, because that's essentially what would have happened. It went into the orbit and broke bone. I can't say that that's a kill because it doesn't seem like it went very far in, but it's definitely sharp in there. It's definitely busted. You want to feel it so you can see what I'm. You can feel what I'm stepping in. You can.
Oh
you
yeah,
can,
I feel it, bro.
Yeah.
It's like warm and squishy.
Whoa, no. That what I mean is the
Yeah,
crack.
I don't
you
think-
feel the crack?
Yeah, I don't think it went in far enough to make a kill, but if this is a person,
Oh,
like,
man.
they're not getting up.
No.
At least
not
for like 6 months.
yeah. Yeah, this is oh man, this is a cruel strike on a human being. On a zombie, they're better strikes.
Yeah.
Let me explain why we're going crazy so slowly. We have a new high-speed camera, and it only allows us a certain amount of seconds to shoot. we know that there's going to be a lot of blood every single time that he swings that weapon. So we're taking it one swing at a time in order to be able to capture all of that beautiful gore footage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Damn, that sounded hard.
Fucking nasty.
All right.
I think that's good.
Hey. That was pretty awesome. Everybody is super bloody. Part of the cranial cavity and skin got launched way over there. I have a piece of bone on my hair. Nate had this piece of bone stuck to him, so there was a lot of carnage going on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now let's talk about this thing. Comparable damage to a Cold Steel Warhammer. Its ability to go in and out of a cranial cavity is incredibly phenomenal if you use the crossguard. You gotta use the crossguard, not only because it's better, but also because we noticed that after the use of the pommel, we started to get a crack right here on the grip of the sword. So the pommel is not gonna be a strike that you're gonna be able to do for a while anyway. And you have a much better strike here with the crossguard. And even with all of those ridiculous hits, the crossguard is still very much attached. It has very little damage. And if you just went up to zombies and attacked them with a vertical strike or an overhowl, Mordschlag, I know it's getting technical, to the parietal bone, even more technical, which is the top of the head, then you could actually do a Lynn Thompson bing, one after another. And the fact that Charles was able to do that with only 25% of his strength means that a lot of people are going to be able to generate the amount of force that it would take to kill as many zombies as they need to. So I'm ridiculously impressed with that weapon. I'm ridiculously impressed with the Mordhau. I didn't know it was going to be that epic. You?
Nah, I thought it was going to be just a crappy little bing and that was it.
Yeah, it's like it was going to turn maybe, like you'd hit and it would like turn or and I definitely thought the pommel would do more damage because it's a pommel, right? That's what people often think is like they used to hit like this.
My only real concern with this strike is that if your blade is sharp and you don't have gloves or anything like that, like on the impact, would that shock transfer down and move your hand slightly enough just to cut your fingers or something?
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have seen Scalagrim talk about it, and what he claims is that even if your sword is incredibly sharp, as long as you hold on to it and your hands don't slide, you won't get hurt but there's always that chance. And if your sword already has blood in it, that's definitely not something that you'd want to do. If you decide to do the Mordhau to kill a bunch of zombies, then it would probably be better to have a sword that is not sharp around here. Maybe it's only sharp in the last 6 inches, or it's not sharp at all, and that sword is only used for murder strokes and not for cutting. Or you get really good at holding the sword, or, like Charles said, you wear gloves. Because even if your hand does not slide, if you have a very sharp sword and you're not wearing gloves, it still hurts. It's still like it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, the shock going into your bones is what hurts.
Yeah. So we'll definitely do more tests on the murder stroke. I'm incredibly just into this particular strike now after witnessing its incredible power. So we'll definitely do more episodes like that. But this wooden sword is ridiculous, even though it got a crack here from the pommel strike. We've been abusing it, and it is wood, and I still say that it deserves the overkill seal of destruction. Pretty much every single strike is a kill, regardless of what part you use. And we abused it, which is why we're getting this. And if we hadn't used the murder stroke with the pommel, it still would have been in perfect shape. Would you give it the overkill seal of destruction?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
For being a wooden weapon, I mean, this thing performed phenomenally.
Better than a lot of steel weapons.
Yeah, and we're not even using it the way that it's supposed to be used, you know?
Yeah. And safe to say that Charles is quite a bit stronger than London was, and London was able to get a one-hit kill with the blade, which is ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, if you guys want to own your own, I have a link in the description below. Please do that, because Purple Heart Armory has been sending us HEMA stuff, not to mention this sword and some other stuff that we can test on Zombie Go Boom. So even though it's not a money sponsorship kind of a thing, they are sending us things that we can use to better our sword skills and better the production value of the show. So if you want to give back a little bit, at the very least, click on that link in the description below. Check out Purple Heart Armory's products at woodenswords.com, but click on that link. And with another mind-blowing episode from Zombie Go Boom, I'm Chuck Murray.
Charles Fultz.
I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other things that you think we did wrong that you'd like to see us redo on our Did We Do It Wrong series, just let us know in the comment section below. Please subscribe. Please share. Sharing helps a lot. Subscribing helps a lot. Punching the living crap out of that like button helps as well. See ya.